Hey YouTube, this is Eddie, and I'm making a video that I never thought I would have to make. Unfortunately, I bought a fake Shinola. I was scammed out of over $200 on eBay. eBay refused to take the listing down after I reported it with a letter from Shinola telling me that the watch was fake. And here we are. In November of 2025, I bought a fake watch. I thought it was real. And here I am now. I'm out that money, and it does not feel good. It does not feel good to get scammed. And so I'm making this video to raise awareness. Hopefully you can have a good idea if you bought a watch off of eBay or off secondhand of how to tell a real from a fake. Now first, if you're watching this video, you might fall into two different camps. A Shinola enthusiast camp, of which I am in. I have quite a few Shinolas, two less now because I sold a watch to pay for the fake Shinola that I'm talking about in this video. But I have quite a few Shinolas. I'm actually wearing a real Shinola duck watch on my wrist right now. And so I'm a Shinola enthusiast, but you also might be part of just a watch, you might be a watch enthusiast. And I'm in both groups. I have several watches from micro brands. I have a couple Seikos. I have, different watches that aren't Shinola, even if Shinola is probably, if not my favorite brand, in my top 2 or 3. And if you're in that latter group of watch enthusiasts and not necessarily a Shinola, homer like me, you are familiar with the concept of fake watches. Watches have been faked for basically forever. And so there's a few reasons for that. And there's a few different types I want to delineate. There's an homage watch. So that is commonly the term that's commonly used to refer to watches that look like a more famous, a more expensive counterpart, but they're not purporting to be that more expensive, more famous counterpart. A lot of micro brands and established brands, Timex, Seiko, what have you, will make watches that look very similar to very famous watches. The Rolex Submariner being probably the most famous example. That's an iconic watch from Rolex. It's sort of the quintessential Rolex, if you ask me anyway. And so plenty of companies make models that look like a Rolex Submariner, but they say, hey, it's a Timex watch, it's a Citizen watch, it's a Seiko watch, it's whatever, a micro brand watch. And so there's nothing wrong with that. I have no issues with those. They're just lookalikes, but they're from a certain brand. And then there's your actual fakes. So it might look like a Rolex Submariner, but it says Rolex on it, and it's not made by Rolex, right? It's fake. And so that's the watch I'm talking about here, and that's the watch that I was sold, really an absolute fake. And so that's used oftentimes to scam people. Some people will buy them just so it looks like a Rolex and they know what they're buying. But a lot of times those types of watches are used to scam people, and that's what happened here. Now, it's very interesting to me, and the reason I said that watch people are more familiar with fake watches is because those brands are widely faked. You can find fake Rolexes, Omegas, Patek Philippe's, etc., without trying very hard. And there's a couple reasons for that. Really, it's just because those brands are famous, well-known, big. People all over the world aspire to, want those watches. So if I make a fake Rolex, if I'm a, malicious entity and I make a fake Rolex, well, I have a big market all over the world I could probably sell into, or scam, or what have you. But if I'm gonna fake a Shinola, Shinola is a good brand. Again, I love Shinola, but they're not as popular, they're not as well known over the world as, nearly as much as those famous brands like a Seiko, like, like Citizen, like Rolex, etc. And so the market for a Shinola fake has to be smaller than a market for those fakes. And so up until recently, as far as I'm aware, Shinola fakes just weren't something that was seen. It just wasn't something that was out there because, I'll use the saying, the juice wasn't worth the squeeze. If I'm a company or a malicious organization, whatever I am, and I'm a maker of fake watches, well, in other words, why would I spend the time making a fake Shinola when I could instead make a fake Rolex and probably pawn it off a lot easier? However, that's changed for one reason or another. Maybe that's a sign Shinola's made it, and they're garnering attention from, scammers. I don't know. But one of these boxes in front of me here is real, from a real Shinola. It's actually from the duck watch that I'm wearing. And one of these boxes is a fake box. And I want you to see if you can spot the difference, because this is extraordinarily good. I'll also put up some pictures of the watch. I didn't take any video of the watch, but I do have some good pictures of the watch, and I'm telling you, this thing was as bang on accurate as you could possibly get. Outside of the strap. The strap was Shinola branded, but it did feel a little funny, but the watch was rock solid, looked awesome. It had, you know, the Shinola branding on the crown. You can see on this one, hopefully you can see the little Shinola lightning bolt. It had that. It had the same crown size and dimensions. The face looked really good, so we'll look at that. But what I have from them still is the boxes. So see if you can spot the real one versus the fake one. We've got Shinola Detroit branding on both of these boxes. And if I open these boxes, I will note, right, and you can probably see that as I lift up, the magnet is stronger on the box to the left. I did rearrange these a little bit, so they're not in exactly the same order. We can see the Shinola box up here, same as this one here, and we can see there, we've got the SHN, this is like scan to register, same information here. We've got the printing on the documentation here, so we can see the printing on the documentation. And then we can pull out that documentation. We can look at that. I'll open the box on the right here. So we've got this book with this raised printing you can feel, A Journey of Quartz and Steel. We'll open this box here. A Journey of Quartz and Steel, raised printing again. So here's the book side by side. Look the same to me. We got the registration cards. We'll come back to the box in a minute. This is the right hand box. This is the left hand box. Let's go through the left hand box first. And so I'm just going to flip through really quick. I'm not going to read all this, but you can see, you know, it's talking about the story of Shinola, talking about their value commitment. The lightning bolt appears on every watch. Like I said, the fake had the lightning bolt on the crown. Make it well made, built to last. Now this talks about the Argonite movement. Depending on which Shinola you purchase, it could have a different movement in it. The Argonite movement is a watch branded Argonite. It's actually a Ronda watch, a Ronda movement from Switzerland, but these are assembled in Detroit. This talks about that, but different watches have different movements, so you know your book, I suppose, could vary. We've got this picture in here talking about the factory in Detroit, the Argonite building. We've got a picture there, so let's take a look at the quality of the print. Watch straps possibly here. You know, we have information on that. And then we've got the end. We've got the lightning bolt. In the back talks about Shinola. So that's that book. Now we have this book. Let's open this book. Looks exactly the same. So, you know, the booklets aren't really giving us any reason to say that, hey, one box is real or fake, at least in my mind. We've got the pages in the same order. Print quality looks, let's take a look. Print quality, I think, well, I'll look at that later photo. Yep, same order in the pages here. Yeah, let's take a look at the print quality in these photos. This one looks more vibrant to me. I'm colorblind, but this one definitely looks more vibrant. You can see that there, a little difference. But pretty much the same, I mean, kind of the same stuff here, you know? If I flip here, you know, right? I mean, it's the same. I mean, this is like, what I'm trying to get at here is you can't, especially if you don't have these side by side, there's no way to look at either of these and say, oh yeah, definitely a real box, definitely a fake box, you know, one way or the other. It's got this same, I don't know what it is, foam board, whatever. Got the same board, feels the same. And then I look at that inside, you know, there's the watches, right? And then we got they sit on a watch pillow. Now these are different. This one is definitely a firmer pillow. This one's not, flimsier pillow on the right hand side. But again, right, if I don't have these side by side, especially if I'm not looking at that, these look like the same dang pillow. And then who's to say, right, we know one's real, one's fake, but who's to say, you know, the pillows and the production runs aren't a little bit different, right? We're not going to be able to judge the authenticity of a watch by the firmness of the watch pillow that it sits on. I mean, right? It just doesn't make any sense. And so these are extraordinarily close, I would say, in terms of the quality, the finishing, and so on. I mean, just extraordinarily close. You can even see in the back of the box, we've got these hinges, right? These little gold hinges. I mean, it's basically the same dang hinge design. There's just no way to tell in my mind, looking at the box, especially if you don't have them side by side, that these are, you know, that these are any different from one another. Now let's take a look at a couple pictures of the watch itself. The watch looked awesome. I got so many compliments on this watch. I had a buddy say that was probably his favorite Shinola in my collection. He's not a Shinola guy, but he's like, yeah, I think that's the sharpest looking one that you have. And well, turns out it was a fake all along. And again, I think the finishing is really immaculate on the watch. I mean, it looked just like a Shinola. Now, I don't have any pictures of the back, unfortunately. That's the other spot that looked a little strange to me. On the back of every Shinola Runwell, there is this sort of Shinola backplate design. And it's not on every watch. If I take my Shinola duck off and I show it to you, it has this really cool design on the back with a duck kind of in and out of the water. You can see there, really nice. But the other Shinolas, like the Runwells, like I'm talking about, have this Shinola backplate. It says Shinola Detroit. It has the serial number on it back there. And the printing looked a little off on that. But to me, I chalked that up to, well, maybe that one just came out of the factory a little, I don't know, you know, just didn't look quite as good as some other ones. But it still looked really authentic. It had the raised lettering. And the key thing on the back to me was the serial number. When I started to suspect it was a fake, I went to the Shinola website. I scanned this code right here to go register my Shinola Runwell. I registered other ones as well. So I went to the official Shinola site. I didn't go to, you know, not a real site, like a fake warranty site. And I registered that Runwell watch. And when you register it, it tells you what exact version you have, the millimeters, the color, it tells you everything that you have. When I registered the fake Shinola Runwell, it came up in the Shinola system as a serial number belonging to a real Runwell of that size, that spec, that everything. Crazy, right? So that made me think I was a crazy person, right? The box is good, and now it's this right one. That's the fake. Let me know if you got it in the comment section down below. Did you guess the left box was fake or the right box? It's the right box that is the fake. And so, you know, with the box all looking good, the watch looking good, the strap being okay, like I said, a little flimsy, a little rubber feeling, but still within passable, I would say, quality to me. And we have all that going on, and then I go register it, and it's registered to a device with that serial number. I even talked to family and friends, and I was like, wow, it registered to the serial number. And they're like, well, it can't be a fake then. I mean, right? It can't be. Well, it was. It was a fake. I actually took the back off the watch, and there was a Ronda movement inside. I think the Argonite ones from the Shinola factory are branded different, so it had a real Swiss movement in it even. So this was a real great quality fake. It used the same movement that's used in Shinola, just the version that's in Switzerland versus the version that's in the United States, assembled in the US, as far as I could tell. So that's my journey. Shinola, really nice about the whole thing. They did destroy it, my fake, and they did give me a discount code so I can obtain an authentic Shinola piece. But, you know, it's still a bummer. I reported the listing to eBay. They refused to take it down, even though Shinola provided me with a letter that said that it was certifiably a fake by them. So the listings are still up. I would say watch yourself if you're gonna buy a Shinola off of eBay. I'll put up some photos of the listing. Just a bummer. You know, I'm out $200. Yes, I have a 20% off coupon or 15%, whatever it was. But I'm still out the $200, and I'm out 2 Runwells because I sold a Runwell to pay for that green and white Runwell. So my authentic Runwell is gone. My fake one was here, and now that's gone. And so now I have to spend more money to get an authentic piece. So it's a real bummer, real sad about that. Don't want to tug on your heartstrings too much, but there are 2 links in the description. This video is not sponsored, but there's 2 links in the description. One is for the VPN that I use, and so it's Surfshark. If you click that, I'll get some dollars, and it won't cost you anymore. It'll actually get you some free months. And then I also have some other links in the description down below. So if you are so inclined to support me that way, would appreciate it. But what a bummer. Fake Shinolas out there. Stay safe out there, stay vigilant. Hopefully this video helped. Let me know if it did. But man, these fakes are good, and they've been good for those big brands I mentioned. But I've never seen a Shinola approaching, I've never seen a fake Shinola before recently, and I've never seen any fake approaching that level of quality for a brand the size of Shinola. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments down below, and have a great one.